สวัสดีค่ะ As more companies become involved with corporate social responsibility activities, questions arise as to whether these are just another image-building mission. Chairman of ASEAN CSR Network, Edgardo Amistad, shares his perspective. Talking about ASEAN, I'm pretty sure most of us must have heard of terminologies like the ASEAN Charter or the AEC. But what is the ASEAN CSR Network?
ASEAN CSR Network is a network of networks, meaning each country has its own network of corporations that are engaged in CSR, and the different networks in the region decided to form one organization, one network called the ASEAN CSR Network. So at present, we have 6 members out of the 10 ASEAN countries. These are the countries of Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, and recently, just early this year, Vietnam joined our network. The target is to have all the ASEAN countries become member in 2 years' time from the time it was originally organized. That was a year ago. So we still have a year to convince the other ASEAN countries, their networks, to join us. We're hopeful that Brunei will come in middle of the year, and then hopefully late this year up to next year, all the other countries like Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos will also be a member. No? And what's the reason for being of the ASEAN CSR Network? It was actually formed through the assistance of the ASEAN Foundation. And one of the mission of the ASEAN Foundation is to bring the people of the ASEAN countries closer to each other, and through socio-cultural activities. And they felt that by creating this ASEAN CSR Network, that's one way of bringing the citizens closer through the different companies operating in the different countries in the ASEAN region. And that's also one way of really pushing the CSR agenda in the ASEAN. And through this network, the different countries, the companies belonging to the different ASEAN countries can exchange best practices. It can be a repository of information regarding CSR practice in the region, because let's face it, ASEAN is different from Europe, from US, or other regions in the world. So we have our own peculiarities, our own differences, and that's why we felt, or the foundation, the ASEAN Foundation felt that there is a need for our own ASEAN CSR Network.
What are some of the activities that the CSR ASEAN Network actually did?
Well, at present, the challenge with the ASEAN, as mentioned in the ongoing ASEAN Business Forum, there is a diversity in terms of economic development, in terms of the present economic status of the different ASEAN countries. And even the status of CSR in the ASEAN countries are quite diverse. There are countries that are quite advanced. I would cite Singapore, probably Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia are quite advanced in their CSR programs and activities. The others are not yet that matured. So there might be a need for the matured countries to help the not so matured in terms of creating a CSR environment conducive for propagating CSR programs and activities. So that's one of the activities we're doing now. Of course, it's relatively new. We're just about a year old, and actually the challenge now is how do we get funding so that we can implement projects and programs for the ASEAN. the initial funding of the network basically came from the ASEAN Foundation. So we got funding support. But of course, it's not enough. So we're trying to do fund mobilization, trying to tap international organizations to fund the possible programs of the network. And also, since at present, there are CSR conventions or expo being done in some ASEAN countries like the Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore, and I think even Malaysia. So we try to help each other, try to learn from each other by supporting the different conferences and expos, and learning from this. It's a good way of knowing where we are now, the status of the CSR programs on all these ASEAN countries.
What does corporate social responsibility actually mean? Is it giving back profits to society that companies earn?
To tell you the truth, there are several definitions of CSR or corporate social responsibility. Of course, the prevailing definition now is that it should be integrated in the business operation of a company or a corporation. So when you say integration, integrated, it's not the normal or the usual concept of CSR wherein corporations or companies would donate funds for charitable activities or programs. This is the, how would I say it? This is the old definition, no? So now it's more of integrating it into the core business. So you're talking of putting it in the value chain. So probably a good example, to make it more concrete, is for me to give an example. Like in the Philippines, there are two companies, big companies like San Miguel Corporation and Jollibee. San Miguel is into, well, one of their products is feeds for livestock. And the main ingredient is cassava. So they try to touch base with the farmers so that they would buy the produce of the farmers. So you eliminate the middlemen. You give financing support. Also, you assure the market for their produce. They set a fair market price in buying the products and other technical support. The same is being done by Jollibee to the farmers that are producing. Well, Jollibee is like a McDonald's, you know. So they need different types of vegetables for their produce. So they tie up with the farmers' organizations that are producing these vegetables. So they give a good price, reliable market, so on and so forth. So it's one way of integrating it, in the value chain, so that the farmers, the producers, are directly benefited from this tie-up.
Is CSR just a marketing ploy to make companies look good?